Hi guys, my name is Craig Flood and I own Watertown Films and we create cinematic wedding films for couples. What I wanted to do today was kind of peel back the curtain a little bit and show you what goes into the making of a highlight film, show you all the different touch points and the meaning that is infused to these films and all the reasons why we do what we do here at Watertown Films. So today we are going to highlight the film of Chris and Taylor. They got married at Black Butte Ranch, which is a gorgeous outdoor venue in Central Oregon. Their ceremony site looked out over this beautiful lake with the Sisters Mountains in the background. And it was such a beautiful day. So Chris and Taylor got recommended to me by a photographer. Something immediately that I found super interesting about them was their love of the outdoors. I think Taylor traveled over to Central Oregon a couple days before their wedding. Her and her family, and I believe Chris as well, went out and they went fly fishing on the Metolius River, and they really made their wedding a laid back event that all their friends and family could come out to. And then it kind of crescendoed of Chris and Taylor saying "I do." And some things that I picked up about them, they were really open. They weren't super standoffish. They really opened themselves up to me and the photographer. And throughout their wedding day, they kind of let their emotions kind of sit on their sleeves. Here are some screen grabs from their wedding, from their film. And this is a moment right after their first look. And you can just see it. You can just see it in their eyes. It's so pretty. And they were really open with each other and they weren't hiding anything or holding anything back while we were there. Here's a beautiful shot of Taylor right after she got her dress on. Here's Chris getting his hat on. Something unique about Chris is the way that they went about things. They didn't do things just to do them. They kind of put their own twists on everything. A perfect example is, and this is their first look, and I love it. She just falls into him on that first look. This is him seeing her come down the aisle for the first time. This is her coming down the aisle with her dad. She's looking gorgeous. This is their kiss. This is some scenic shots we got. But what I love about it is they just soaked it all up. A prime example is like during their speeches. They sat and they savored the speeches. And you'll see that from their expressions. There was laughing, there was crying, there was everything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you kind of what went into their film and why I made the decisions I made. And everything has a reason, and it's all highly influenced by them and who they are. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull that up. So here is Chris and Taylor's wedding film. It was a super special film to make for them, and it was influenced heavily by them and their day. These films aren't just thrown together. There's so much meaning put into them. And some things I can tell you that really influenced me about their day was them in general. If I could just show you, like for example, right here, her father is giving a speech, and you can see her response.
And I think we drug our feet as long as we could.
I mean, she's just letting it hit her like a ton of bricks. Let's see some other things. The officiant was a friend of theirs and knew them well.
Will forever leave a warmth on your shoulders. It will brighten up your darkest days. It's something
like just little things too. I love that look right there that he gives Taylor, and it's just like, oh man, it's so good. Let's look at some other moments real quick. There's a shot of him walking down the aisle, and you just see the joy right here. Look at that face. He is the happiest guy. If we look at their ceremony, something unique about them, it's always interesting to see what couples choose for their ceremony. Like, what music are they going to walk into? What music are they going to walk out to? And it tells me a lot about their tastes. And I know that Chris too had his hand in music prior to all this. That came up in speeches. And so he's kind of a music connoisseur. So I was really particular about the music that I brought in for their wedding film. But here,
oh, baby, I just know there is a can't stop.
the song, deep, meaningful. And then the song that she walked down the aisle to. Really low key, really beautiful. And then the song they left to, really fun, really upbeat, and I believe it was St. Lucia. So happy. Look at her. Look at her. And they're just pumped, man. They're just enjoying it. So with all that in mind, and seeing the special connections that they had with each other, that they had with their guests. And another really unique thing that came up was the father-daughter relationship. This is their father-daughter dance. I cut this specifically and gave this to them as a little gift because it was so impactful.
Forever young.
Right there, she just dives her head into his. It's so fun to watch this. Being a father myself and have a daughter, Grace, it's like, and here is a thunder strike with some rain.
May you grow up to be righteous. May you grow up to be true.
Such a beautiful thing to see and be invited into somebody's day and watch this, to be essentially complete strangers to them, and then come to this day.
May you always be
I love it. So let's go back. Let's look at their film, and I just want to kind of show you the heart and the touch that goes into these films, and how every shot is thought through, and every connection is thought through, and every cut is thought through. So first I'll say, so let's make sense of this a little bit just so you guys can see it. This is what editing looks like. It looks like a bunch of visual clips and a bunch of audio tracks. This is all the audio from their day, from the officiant, the bride, the groom, any special readings or speeches that they had either during ceremony or during the reception. This is the music that was chosen and how it was cut and laced specifically for their film. These are any sound effects to help increase the feel of the day. And if we jump in, what I did was I chose music for them that was going to be low key because they had such powerful content throughout the day. In the speeches and the vows, everything was so meaningful and heartfelt. I didn't want to overpower that. I really wanted to just create something that would assist that and help accentuate that, but not kind of take the front seat in the limelight per se. And then as well, I brought in a second song that would kind of match the upbeatness for their dancing and the high energy of it all. They had a super fun, crazy dance party that was really fun to edit and play with and cut. And we'll just give this a little bit more room here. And then finally, at the end of the film, I really love ending on something special. Sometimes I end with the traditional, like, you're now married, but I love to find something unique if possible. And what I chose to do with them here was get a third song to change the tone, change the vibe, and then end with some really powerful vows that Taylor had.
Years ago, I asked my late grandfather, my papu, how do you know when you meet the right person? The person you'll spend the rest
Like, I
of your
love
life
the
with.
legacy behind that
He
statement.
simply smiled at me with such certainty and said, you just know. And he was right. Chris, you changed my heart and opened my eyes.
All right. So there we go. That's a precursor to what you're about to see. And I'll kind of break things down with you as we go along so you can kind of see what goes into this, why do films cost so much? And a lot of it comes down to this. It's like once you get the raw material from the wedding day, it is now our job to beautifully craft that into something that's going to be meaningful for you, your family, and for generations to come. So let's dive into their film.
So, Taylor, here we stand at another turn of the circle. And I think we drug our feet as long as we could. But we both knew this day would come, and now it's...
Okay, I'm going to be interrupting like crazy. They're on a journey. They're walking in a field. This was right after their first look. And every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to like 100 other things. So for the intro of their film, something that I noticed was the unique relationship that Taylor had with her father. And it was so beautiful. And this is a line right here that you're hearing that he gave during the speeches. And he's really hinting the fact that, man, he raised this girl. He's been with her. Like, I have a daughter, Grace. I can't imagine giving her away at a wedding and entrusting her to some other man. Like, she's mine. I raised her. I cuddled with her. I loved her. I read her books. I changed her diapers. I fed her. I kissed her boo-boos. Like, all of that was me. And one day I will give her away. And it's so inspiring to see dads who do it well. And he's kind of hinting at the bittersweetness of it all. The fact that he's here, they're married, he gave her away, and he saw it coming. but man, it's not easy. And you can see the impact that has on Taylor. And I thought, man, what a good thing to start this film out with, and to show the power of that relationship, and the meaning. And that really sets the tone for the whole film. So let's just watch that again. And two, visually, I want to show you it. I want you to feel like you're there. So like something that I focused on was, here you see a shot of all three of them right here. And that's great and all, but he says this really powerful line right here. You see
And I
it?
think we drug our feet as long as we could.
And I think we drug our feet as long as we could. And then you see her dive for her hand. And you see her, she is like, that's what I love about Chris and Taylor. They're not stopping the emotion. They're letting it hit them. They're not saying, oh my gosh, we're in front of 100 people. Like, I don't want to show this. It's like, it's just her and her dad and her new husband, Chris, and they're just letting it hit them like a brick wall. And that's what's so special about this. And I want to show you guys that. I want them to see it. I could have hid that, but that would be insane to hide emotional moments like this that are so charged with energy and meaning. And so that's something that I want to show for sure.
But we both knew this day would come, and now it's here. And I knew this would be hard. But seeing the two of you as husband and wife, and knowing the depth of the love you share for each other.
And I love that look. He's talking about seeing them together and the depth of love that they share for each other. And I love this motion where she is gazing up and lifting her head and looking straight into his eyes. I feel like those just pair so nicely together.
It takes a lot of the sting away. And Taylor, you look so beautiful today.
Again, she lets it hit her right here. So pretty. And I love it. Like, she's just that shoulder shrug, how that right shoulder drops, and the look on her face. I'm like tearing up just looking at this. And the look on Chris's face, like his eyes are closed because he's so happy. And then the next shot, I really like her father just complimented how beautiful she looks. And I really wanted to show a shot that really showed that. And so this is her resting on Chris's chest and just relaxed. I love that Chris is embracing her. She is comfortable there. She is home there. There's no other place she'd want to be. And she looks so gorgeous at this angle, especially with those earrings kind of accenting everything. And then you're seeing the man that she's clinging to now. So she's essentially leaving her father and she's clinging to Chris, and Chris has got her. And that's something I love about Chris. He's like a giant teddy bear. And I bet she just loves that. So now, that was really emotional, right? So now I want to let you breathe. Like, I don't want to keep slamming it on you. So now I just show some beautiful scenics. Like, again, they got married at Black Butte Ranch. It's such a pretty place. And it's like, okay, let's back up a little bit. I don't want to overload you guys. And here I'm just setting the scene. I'm just saying, hey, this is where we're at. This is the beauty that they chose to get married in. It's such a great place. And now I'm kind of saying, hey, now let's go into the building. Let's check out what's going on.
To love and to be love is to feel the sun from both sides. Chris and Taylor, the love that you two have found will forever leave a warmth on your shoulders. It will brighten up your darkest days. It's something that will forever grow with more love and more care. Loving one another is always giving. It should never take.
So here, this is a great line. The officiant knows them. He knows them well. He's friends. And I love the line and poetry that he brings in to describe their love, because he's just verbalizing what we're all seeing in this film. And something too that I really like about this is this moment right here where Chris right there looks at her. I mean, he just holds that gaze. He is so into this moment. And it's so fun to see that little thing.
Forever grow with more love and more care. Loving one another is always giving. It should never take.
Again, I'll just break down some of these shots. I love this shot just because you know what's coming. Anticipatory shot. I love this shot. Her dress is still undone. She hasn't done it up yet. And I love this slight slight hand gesture, and with such a gentle rest on her belly. And that bracelet. It's little elegant, beautiful moments like that I just love capturing. Her dress, her friends, her mom in front of her holding her, a spray, a glance. We got Chris here putting on his hat. I don't know how many guys I filmed that put on a hat, but it's so fun to just see people, you know what, like, we're not going to follow tradition. I like hats. Another thing on their grand entrance, they totally came in both wearing shades like Maui Gems.
Even from the first moment I saw them, I felt their energy. I sensed their trust in one another. There was a softness. There was love.
And I love that line. There was a softness, there was love. And again, that is totally what I see between them. And I love that the officiant is putting words to it. So now, that's a great segue, right? It's like I always want to be taking you somewhere in the film. And here it's like we're leading up to their first look now. So let's go ahead and watch that.
There was a softness. There was love.
So I like this shot. This is Chris by himself. Like, the look on his face, you tell he's thinking, like he's chewing on something. Something else super unique about them too was these were essentially flies that are used in fly fishing. A nice touch that they added, hence they went fly fishing before their ceremony, and that's definitely a part of kind of what they do. And then him, you kind of get a sense like he's waiting, he's nervous, and then boom, you see her. She's still a little far off. We can talk about composition for a second. I really like this specific moment of Taylor walking in because if we time shift this a little bit, there is a natural kind of gap in these bushes right here, a nice little pocket. And I timed everything so that this shot is her kind of walking into that gap. So you see right here, the only thing going on around her, it's none of this bushes, it's none of this, it's kind of this nice backdrop with the trees back there. And she's kind of, the composition is beautiful. She's off to the right. She's still far away from Chris, and it builds up anticipation. And here we see Chris by himself still, and then here she comes. And we'll raise this up too real quick. This is her voice. She just says something ever so slight to him to make him turn around. I love it. And I love giving you little glimpses. I mean, you can tell they're nervous. He kind of lets loose. He says he's terrified, and she just loses it, right? I love it. That smile. Oh, the wipe of the eye. He's not holding back the emotions.
Here we go. Got it?
Yes.
And right there, that is another really unique 9. So here we go.
Got it?
Got it. And she, like, with blood earnestness, just says yes. And she is so for this.
Yes.
Those are the moments I want to
Let me
highlight.
start by saying that you were my...
So here we go. Now we're jumping into Chris, right? He just said yes. They're ready for this. And so let's do it.
Let me start by saying that you were my co-captain, my equal, and my confidant. I love your...
That look right there is worth $1 million. You can just tell how excited he is about this. Like that smile.
trust and dedication to our team. I'm so grateful to have an intelligent and hardworking partner in crime. My love for you has and will always be immutable. The ups and downs are
I
what
love
we'll
that look on his face.
together.
Everybody's standing up to see her.
Even in the hardest
Here she
moments,
comes.
I'll be your stability. And when tomorrow is too much, I promise I'll carry it all. I got you.
I promise I'll carry it all. I got you. So remember with their film, everything's pretty low key right now. And I knew with them, man, I want to give them a fun, unique transition. I want it to be upbeat. And this is where I make a really unique transition with them. So we leave his vows, and I want to create some kind of segue to her coming down the aisle. The music is kind of dying off. It's about over. And I bring in some kind of woodsy audio birds noise just so they can just have this quick, special little moment in the woods. And then boom, she's revealed. And at the same time, I hit you with a really unique track that is going to push us into the dancing. And with them, it was a really kind of edgy transition. But with them, I knew it would totally fit with who they are, what I learned about them. And this is what that looks like. Actually, I'm going to back it up just a
Much.
little bit.
I promise I'll carry it all. I got you.
I love that smile. And that throws us right into their dancing. I do a lot of fast cuts for them. The music, the pacing, I want it all to match, and I want them to feel the energy of this day, and I want to increase that energy with editing as much as I can. And here we go. It's just like, I love getting crazy with editing and just making that dance party that they had with all their closest friends and family come alive. And I'm just looking for little moments of moves, jitters, laughs, smiles, embraces, parents, hair whips, dads, moms, people that you just wouldn't think would just be like letting loose on the dance floor. And so now this is where I chose a different song because I'm like, man, I need something else to end this out. And I found something that I thought would fit them really well. And I still had a couple things I wanted to show. I wanted to show the I do. And I'm saving these really good lines from the ride for last. And so I kind of want to show the scenicness of it, kind of pull you away from dancing. I use this shot. Something unique about this shot too, there were a bunch of wildfires that day out in Central Oregon. And everything was really getting smoky and hazy. And this was right before a thunder and rainstorm rolled in too. But it's just fun for them to remember what it looked like, what it felt like, the smoke, the haze.
I now pronounce you husband and wife.
Something fun about them too is they weren't afraid to get a little wet. So here we went away for a sunset session and it was just coming down, but at the same time it was super sunny, which is a super unique mix. And so they just went for it and it was some really fun content to shoot with them. And I want to end on something special, and here we go.
Years ago, I asked my late grandfather, my papu, how do you know when you meet the right person? The person you'll spend the rest of your life with. He simply smiled at me with such certainty and said, you just know. But he was right. Chris, you changed my heart and opened my eyes to a world I never knew existed. I am so incredibly in love with you. I promise.
I love it. So you notice some things get covered up here, some things don't. And one of those things I don't want covered up is that look on his face. I shoot for those looks. I want those looks to make the film. I want Taylor to remember that look. I want Chris's kids to see how dad was towards Taylor. I want that to just live on for them.
I promise to love you and care for you as my cherished husband for the rest of our lives. I love you.
I love you too.
Okay. Oh, I love it. So here, she says, I love you. And then I've never seen a guy follow up quite as well as he did. And right off the bat, man, he says, I love you too. And you can just see, man, he is just so, so happy.
I love you.
I love you too.
I love you too. And then I end on this moment because it's dreamy, it's beautiful, it's super unique. Framing wise, we have the rain coming in. I put them right in between these bushes so that the bushes are kind of giving them a frame within the frame. And I just kind of let it linger out on that with a real nice slow fade off for them. And that's what goes into a highlight film. That's the thought that goes in. That's my desires for a film. That's what I want couples to walk away with. I want them to see those little moments that bring them back to the day, that communicate who they are, not just visually, but verbally, which is why I love when couples do personal vows. I love when they dig deep and they really have a somberness and joy about them, to say some really meaningful things to each other. So if you've ever wondered what goes into a highlight edit, wonder no more. For Watertown Films, this is what goes into a highlight edit.
So, Taylor, here we stand at another turn of the circle. And I think we drug our feet as long as we could. But we both knew this day would come, and now it's here. And I knew this would be hard. But seeing the two of you as husband and wife, and knowing the depth of the love you share for each other, it takes a lot of the sting away. And Taylor, you look so beautiful today.
To love and to be loved, it's to feel the sun from both sides. Chris and Taylor, the love that you two have found will forever leave a warmth on your shoulders. It will brighten up your darkest days. It's something that will forever grow with more love and more care. Loving one another is always giving. It should never take. Even from the first moment I saw them, I felt their energy. I sensed their trust in one another. There was a softness. There was love.
Terrified. Here we go.
Here we go.
Got it?
Yes.
Let me start by saying that you are my co-captain, my equal, and my confidant. I love your endless trust and dedication to our team. I'm so grateful to have an intelligent and hardworking partner in crime. My love for you has and will always be immutable. The ups and downs are what we'll live for together. Even in the hardest moments, I'll be your stability. And when tomorrow is too much, I promise I'll carry it all. I got you.
I now pronounce you husband and wife.
Years ago, I asked my late grandfather, my papu, how do you know when you meet the right person? The person you'll spend the rest of your life with. He simply smiled at me with such certainty and said, "You just know." But he was right. Chris, you changed my heart and opened my eyes to a world I never knew existed. I am so incredibly in love with you. I promise to love you and care for you as my cherished husband for the rest of our lives. I love you.
I love you too.